I wanna take things slow, put my mind in cruise control.
Are you a squirter?
No.
You're not?
I've never squirted.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's probably, I mean, I guess guys like it, right? Yeah.
I wanna take things slow, put my mind in cruise control.
Did hard like Rottweiler. Can you handle it?
Hey yo, Jerry Chestnut.
Can you handle it? Woo, 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 woo. The whole industry been in shambles. Everybody fugazi, I'm just changing the channel. Kendrick Lamar, the people's champion, I'm animal for analysts. Career damaging versus meditating when candles lit. I like my raps extra prolific. Some freestyling, no lunch tables and park benches. And I won't mention my 10,000 hours in training while juggling game banking. My balancing was tremendous. And now we look at the competition as quick submissions. They tapping out before we even get a chance to miss them. What this about? Is it money or skill? Maybe it's both, and I got large amounts of it, it's real. You see, my oath is very unbreakable. My style is never mistakable. I can see y'all incapable. Who be the guy MCs, you know me well. Ridiculous, venomous, hate in my heart. The sinister, run for cover, my lineage prove itself. I'm rolling deep in their paper like two Adele's. Before scholars, I flow tighter than virgin lips. We here to shake the game up, and you're flying through turbulence. Everything is high stake nowadays. That's how I play nowadays. It's like an 8 ball to the face nowadays. I'm laced nowadays. My gun is off the waist nowadays. It's 7 figures in retainer for the case nowadays. I'm talking higher power every other hour since Eddie Bowers and stash boxes and lead showers. Breaking the padlock and the dead cow dying 1,000 deaths. Entire lion surrounding self with bears watching. Nigga, you share profit. This is what they want. I'm the one. This is footage from 1987.
Oh my goodness. Jeez. What just happened there, fellas? That is the Black Friday Kendrick Lamar freestyle. For those who haven't heard it yet and you want to listen to it, if you like that, Kendrick and J. Cole did a Black Friday special where they both rapped on each other's beats. J. Cole rapped to All Right, Kendrick rapped to A Tale of Two Cities. Definitely check that out if you haven't heard it already.
Yeah, that was the closest they came to collabing, huh?
Yeah, I'm close.
What? I don't understand that.
Huh? But maybe you understand this, Dave. If you can hear the sound of my voice, if you could see me on your camera right now, that could mean one thing and one thing only. You are locked in to the Cruise Control episode 120. Finish it off.
2.
Senor.
We are popping, man. 122 episodes into.
Oh yeah.
You ever listening to Rhythm of the Night?
No, it was never mind.
And then he was listening to circadian rhythms.
This is the rhythm. That's a great song to just pull up and listen to randomly.
That's tough. And another thing to pull up and listen to randomly is the Cruise Control. And if you want to do that, what you're going to do is come right here, right? And on the side, we're going to have a subscribe button.
It's a little higher.
The subscribe button is up here. Where's it at?
That's too high. Right there. Right there.
Okay, subscribe button is going to be right here. Right next to the subscribe button.
Oh, it moved. Just make them do whatever I want. A little dancing monkey.
You're going to hit that subscribe button, and you're going to notice it's going to have a play sign on it. But instead of the play sign, we're going to do something a little different. Right? We've been missing this guy for like a whole month now. So we're gonna remind people of this guy. We're going to put PapiLex face right here. Right? But on the left side, on the right side of his forehead, we're going to put a Jordan 1. Just your favorite Jordan 1 shoe, Bendito.
All right.
And then on the left side of his forehead, you're going to put a Poo Poo Platter right here, just all connected right there on PapiLex's forehead. And then you're going to click that and like, subscribe, and comment to the Cruise Control, baby.
Why? What is a Poo Poo Platter? I don't think I've ever ordered one.
I thought it was a platter of shit.
All right. Thank you. I thought it was a platter of shit. Hold on.
Go ahead. Give him this one. There it is.
That's the richest laugh I ever heard.
And listen, man, before we get into the episode, of course.
You're not going to answer my question?
What?
I have no idea what
I thought it was like eggs.
Alex, you back. You're a researcher. Look up what a Poo Poo Platter is. Or you should know it because it's on your head.
When you hit top.
It's pun the head top. I never knew what that is.
I thought it was eggs. I thought it was like fried eggs with rice.
Really? Yeah, I've heard of it. I just never ordered one. What is it, Alex? What does it say?
So poo
It says
wrong.
it's just an appetizer.
It's just an appetizer.
This joint got egg rolls, spare ribs, chicken wings, chicken finger, everything.
Hey guys,
Oh, it's like a mess type plate.
A garbage platter.
Yeah, like a garbage.
he had a few.
I feel like there's different versions of that, like in different cuisines and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
cocky platter.
So a poo poo platter is like an Asian version of that.
Yeah, so Poo Poo Platter is just a smorgasbord.
A smorgasbord.
So poo poo means smorgasbord.
Yeah, it's like just throw all that poo poo together.
Gotcha.
Throw all that poo poo. It's a crazy set.
Because you go poo poo after you eat that, John.
That's real rap. That's some real shit. But
That's
listen,
real
man,
cocky work.
before we get into this poo poo real quick, I gotta introduce the team. As you know, it's your boy, the breast above the rest, a tribe called Chess. It's your boy Chess is in the building.
He a 69 God.
What am I?
He a 69 God.
What's that number?
He a 69 God.
Woo, shit, my man, Euphoria. Sitting to my left, dressed in his bag today, drug lord styled out,
It's something like
something light. It's the one and only Cannoli Cruises in
a
the building.
cannoli is.
And the man behind the camera, the man, the myth, the legend himself.
And a
The
llama.
one and only.
And a llama.
Who?
And a llama. And a llama.
What's his name? Okay. The one and only Bendito is in the building. What's up with you, cuz? How you feeling today, man? Chilling?
Yeah, I'm good. It's like, no, what's up,
Are you
y'all?
traumatized from last week?
Nah, I listened back and I was like, wow, I was too happy. No such thing as too happy, but
Yeah.
How's everybody doing?
And back from his hiatus, he took a month off, but he's back in his bag. The one and only Dave is. Thank you. Oh, real quick, it's
Oh, got it. A piece of rolled. Oh,
delivered.
poo poo platter.
Speaking of,
One piece of my poo poo platter has arrived.
he was so confused. He was like, "What's a poo poo platter?" Like he didn't just order one.
Thank you, God.
And the man, the myth, the legend himself, he's back. It's been a month, but that don't even matter because he's here. PapiLex is back in the building, ladies and gentlemen. What's up with you, Pop?
You're what's good?
That's the first noise you make in an episode.
I kind of miss you
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Why kinda? Why kinda?
Yeah.
Why kinda?
because I don't know. It's just I feel safe. I feel safe. Mm-hmm. You know, having this guy right here on my side,
What makes you feel
all
safe
the way
about
over
it?
there,
What's up
across
with
the
it?
room. I don't know. It felt different without him.
That's yo, the crunch of the egg roll off.
And he's back. You know what I'm saying? Everybody enjoy your rolls.
Sorry, y'all. We hungry.
I'm glad Alex is back. Alex, are you glad to be back?
Yes, sir. Been a minute.
Explain yourself. People are mad. People was texting me.
What they said, Dave?
They said, "Yo, where's PapiLex?
Mm-hmm.
Where's PapiLex? Where's PapiLex?"
Bendito, what was they texting you? Because you was telling me they was texting you too. What was they saying?
where's PapiLex?
I'm like, he's not my Papi. First thing I had to say. I'm not calling no other man Papi.
They was furious. People was throwing bricks at walls. People was in the street,
Darts at boards.
in the middle of the street yelling, PapiLex! Just in the middle of the street, mad. Where was you?
I could have came to every pod that happened.
Wow.
Just being real. I could have showed up.
They won't exist.
Damn.
That was evil, dude.
Somebody farted too.
No, it
Took
wasn't
2
me.
bites.
That wasn't me. I'll claim a fart.
That's real rap.
Debatable.
Y'all try to hide it.
No, I claim
Y'all be
my
clandestine?
farts.
Yeah, I clean my fart.
Clandestine.
I'm straightforward about it.
That's tough. Explain clandestine to us.
Listen,
Bendito.
Sorry, go ahead.
you trying to get canceled.
Come on, Bendito.
That's not even a thing no more.
You trying to work for Days Soda. You're demoted. You're down to the minor leagues.
RC Cola.
You got options. Down to Bubba.
How you get to accordion cola?
Oh man.
I lost all embarrassment of pooping in public, farting, whatever.
Okay.
By being on the high school football team. And Dev, you can relate to this.
Yeah, that's true.
Because at my high school, shout out to Central High here in Philly, the locker room, the football locker room, the bathroom ain't have no doors. Wait, did they put doors by the time you started? No doors. No doors. And before every football game, everybody got to poop. You get the pre-game poops.
Okay.
You know, and everybody like to go to the Chinese store and get like popcorn chicken and stuff like that.
That's real rap.
So now everybody's all pooped up, ready to Poo Poo Platters on deck. And it ain't no doors. So when you gotta go, you gotta go.
Yeah.
So you know, you hold it down, you do your thing, and after that, I'm like, look, I'll go anywhere. Airport, doctor's office, funeral.
Got to.
Pepsi.
White House. Pepsi, anywhere.
Yeah. They be drawing in the bathroom though. And
I don't, you know, that doesn't bother me. But I don't draw. I follow a lot of bathroom, you know, etiquette, Jones, as far as trying to be respectful. You know, if I'm near a hand dryer, run that John for like a minute and a half. Get the loud noise flowing.
Okay.
Get the air circulating.
we talked about this. I feel like it was
We
like
did. It was many
episode
moons ago.
80 or 90s, like around those episodes. But I definitely said if I'm in the bathroom and I'm pooping, I'm playing a song or a video so you know that it's happening.
Right. Announce that you're there.
Yeah.
Don't be in secret and then just fire off a missile.
Yeah, all
And
hands on
fireworks
deck.
in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hard. But listen, Dave, before we keep talking about poop,
Sorry to go off on a poo poo
Yeah.
platter tangent.
before we get started about poop, before we start all the, you know, we got to get into the first topic of the episode, right? And as we always do, we got to talk about something special. We got to talk about something fun. So for this, you know what I'm gonna do today, Dave?
What's up?
My man took a month off, right? We gonna let Poppy bring in the first topic of the episode. You know what I'm saying? We gonna let him.
He's not my poppy.
We're gonna let PapiLex bring in the first topic of the episode. He's that boy. People want to hear from him. They've been missing him.
Cheers.
You know, Dave. You know, we had to
Cheers in the biggest beer.
we had to bring in HD. You know what I'm saying? When PapiLex absence. You know what I'm saying? Luckily he was homeless, so he couldn't make it to here because he had to find a home. You chilling though, so you here now.
Right.
So PapiLex, we gonna give it up to you. We gonna give it up to you is.
Yeah, yeah.
Play a song. Let us know you're here.
So PapiLex, go ahead, take this first topic. What we talking about today?
We really sincerely, we want to hear from you. What's on your mind? Where's your life? You know, update the people because you've been missing for a little while. Like just kick us off, man. Tell me what's at the top of your brain right now.
Yo, for a couple of weeks now, I just been like trying to get over this hill of getting into relationships and not wanting them at the same time.
I feel like we all been through that.
split.
Oh, horny. Yeah. We gave you a chance to kick off the episode. That's what you're starting with?
He's horny. He's PapiLex.
Yo,
Pure horn.
14 us.
Yo, I'm horny.
I'm hard.
Black Myth Wukong over here, dude.
Okay. I was horny.
So that's at the top. That's at the top of your mind.
Yeah.
Okay, that explains why he wasn't here. Spo was lovesick. He was trying to figure it out. You know, trying to figure out, do I want to bang her? Do I want a boinker? I want a boinker. Because those are two different things.
Okay. But Dave,
so what are you saying? Clarify and give me a little more insight as to what you mean by that.
Just like if I'm trying to get into it with someone in a relationship or just talk, I instantly back out sometimes. I'm a ghoster. I don't want to take it to that step, even though I want to.
So what?
First of all,
okay.
I don't want to, even though I want to.
I kind of appreciate the honesty.
Yeah.
For somebody to say I'm a ghoster, a lot of people ain't willing to admit that. That takes a real man.
That's a real man.
That's a real man right there.
Give him the real man.
Sounder.
I do appreciate that though, because the first thing about this whole topic is admitting that that's what you are and that's how you. That's
you
how
got a problem.
Going. This is AAA, right? What's AA meeting?
AA.
This is AA for ghosting. Right? Okay, so we're gonna be here. We're gonna help you out with this problem. And ladies and gentlemen, this is something that a lot of people go through. It doesn't have to be relationships, right, Dave? It could be friendships, or even like if you feel like you want something but you just back out of it because of fear of what could happen next or being told no. There's a lot of things that are involved with, jumping into something without knowing. It's like taking the leap. You know what I'm saying? It's
If
scary.
I could say one thing that even Bendito knows about me.
Okay.
That I got bad FOMO. I'm 20 years old, but still I have really bad FOMO.
Yeah.
Explain FOMO.
Fear of missing out. Yeah.
So you a FOMO.
That's real man stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're saying,
okay, let's
you're
talk
saying
about
you got
this. Let's
FOMO
talk
in
about
terms
this.
of like, if you see there's a possible connection with somebody, you want to explore it, and you get that urge to do that. Like you're kind of drawn to do that at all times. But then you get into it and you're like,
hold up.
You kind of start putting people at arm's length again.
Yeah.
So there's a back and forth.
Yeah.
Can you identify like a main core reason why that is the case? Why you're on the fence about get into a relationship? Because look, at this point, we need you to find love so that you could be here every week.
Right.
When you love, it's gonna take your potting to a whole new level. And we need you to feel fulfilled. We need you to get that nut off so you can stop being so horny. And we need you to figure it out.
Right.
Look at Benny's face. Look at how he's so concerned.
Yeah.
And he wants you to succeed. But can you figure out or kind of take a stab at what do you think it is that makes you be so 50-50 on the fence about something like a relationship?
Like right now, I say a lot that I'm just not ready, I guess. Like I'm stuck between I am ready and then I'm not ready.
Okay.
Or what I'm going through. If I'm working a lot, why get into it?
What makes y'all ready for a relationship, Benny, Devin?
I think you find out when you're ready when you're happy with yourself. So you're not ready yet because you're telling yourself that you're not happy with the person who you are right now, which is okay because you're young, you got a lot of life to live, you got a lot of stuff to go through. But right now in this moment, you feel in your heart there's something missing. Maybe it's the job. Maybe you're telling yourself, I'm just spitballing, I'm not, whatever. But maybe you're telling yourself, this is not the job that I want to be at right now. Maybe you're telling yourself, this is not how I want to dress. I don't like the way that I look. I want to do something different. Maybe you're telling yourself, I don't go to the gym as much. I want a washboard, six-pack right now. I want the muscles out the wazoo. I want to look stacked up and all that before I look at a girl. Maybe you're telling yourself, I don't like my barber. My haircuts always come out trash. Like, there's so many things that you're telling yourself in this moment. And the biggest thing is to identify in yourself what you're unhappy with and work on it. Because listen, now, it's as much as, Dave is in a great relationship, Benny's doing his thing, whatever the case may be, you always want to work on yourself. You don't ever want to get comfortable. So that feeling is never going to leave, but there's extremities to that feeling. So you can either feel like highly above it and feel like, yo, like this is how crazy I feel about it. Or you can be like, I'm going to work on it. I'm tough. Like I could get this done, but I know I want to work on it. So you got to find that common middle ground right now about what's your life, what you want to do, and how you want to handle it. You feel me?
Let's clap that up.
Yeah, that was great.
That was beautiful.
That was actually really good. Just in terms of saying, cheers.
Benny shook his iced coffee at us.
Crazy.
That was amazing.
Toast.
That was actually really insightful. I will say I was just letting you cook, but extremities is like your arms and legs. You was thinking extremes, but it's cool. We was following.
Right, shout out to your arms and legs.
Shout out to your arms and legs.
What if his John was he feel like his legs not, he don't got good legs?
That's not. It don't work that way. It does not work that way.
Why no work?
You feel me?
This thing got extremities.
I'm a little
It's highs, it's lows. It's lefts, it's rights.
Got limbs.
Listen, man, we've been drinking on today's sponsor, the Prestige. You feel me? When you want a magic trick in your tummy, drink the Prestige. All right.
That sounds crazy.
Prestige is chilling. It's a lager. I don't like drinking lagers, but no. Nevertheless, yeah, Alex, I really think that's what you got.
It definitely could be that too. Someone had talked with me that it's probably what's surrounding me. I see people happy, or I hear more relationships happening.
I feel like a part of it too is like you genuinely have to feel that like connection with somebody to be able to say like, yeah, I do want to spend more time with you. I do want to get to know you. I could see us having a future. And I feel like even for you, like in particular, you're a lot more mature for your age. You know what I mean? Because when I was 20, like I was just in these streets. You know what I mean?
Like what?
Extremities.
Give us examples.
I was using my extremities. All right.
He's extremities.
But you
freaked out.
You seem like
I freaked
you seem like you're gonna try to take someone a lot more seriously and try to get to know somebody and really take it to those next levels, whether it be a real long-term relationship, marriage, kids, the whole nine. And a lot of people your age aren't looking for that. And it's good to take your time with it, you know? And really have that connection with somebody. Make sure it's somebody who will accept you for you, knowing who you are, someone who's not going to change you or make you turn into somebody that you're not. You know what I mean? It's like those things are important, and it's you taking your time with that decision is fine. And if the vibes aren't there, you know me and my vibes. The vibes ain't there, I'm out.
Vibes cartel.
Yeah, exactly. Vibes cartel.
Vibes cartel.
Vibes cartel.
My block list is ridiculous.
Yeah, my extremities are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Hey, you.
Hey, Alex out here bragging.
My extremities are ridiculous.
He tried to get to the female cruise controllers out here. The controllers.
The controlitas.
The chinitas. The controlita.
The controllers.
Yeah.
Dave, what's up?
Maybe you just want to be a savage, bro. Have you thought about that?
Maybe.
That was different.
Because y'all talking about the one side of the fence, the beautiful, chivalrous, find a long-term,
chivalrous
relationship. But if we go to the other extremity,
tell him, and he
just want to be a savage.
He's dressed like a savage right now, right?
When I was when
toes is out.
Hey, listen. Hey,
buttons is
when
unbuttoned.
I was in my 20s.
Tell him.
When Dave was in his 20s, he was about 280, 300 pounds, right? He was
in my pants. Big old extremity.
That was your name in high school?
They used to call me Big Extremity in middle school.
You feel me? He was in his bag. Pizza rolls, egg rolls everywhere.
No. Truthfully, I was not a savage ever.
No.
I was always a good old boy. But you might want to be, that might be the other side of it. You know what I mean? You got to search yourself and figure out what it is you need to do to kind of get yourself moving, because that whole wishy-washy thing, that's going to run you crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Real rap.
You either need to start being, it's a risk either way. So it's a risk if you start to really commit. Knowing some of what happens with commitment is that you could get hurt, you could get let down, you could get taken advantage of, blah, blah, blah. That's par for the course. That's life and relationship. On the other side, you might just need to be a savage and kind of get it out your system. Start boinking as much as possible.
Yo.
Captain Boink.
Yeah. Real rap.
Right.
It's boink time.
Get your pork points up.
Boink the clown.
Porky's point.
Boinky's boink, dude. Yeah, man. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Put up with your boinker finger. Go like this. And boink them.
Right.
You figure deal me?
Tribe called Boink. So just think about that. You know.
All right.
You are young.
Yeah.
And you might just want to be out here just kind of getting a taste test of people. Pause.
If somebody knows something about taste testing, Bendito, we know who that is.
Poo Poo Platter himself.
That's not his new nigga.
With this, you feel me? Like the outfit and all that. It's a taste tester.
Oh yeah.
You feel me? That's what I'm saying. And Alex, before we get to the next topic, I'm gonna leave you with this because you and I are the single ones on the show.
Yeah.
And I'm a little older than you, so
Single boys, stand up.
Single boy, stand up.
Put your boinker finger up.
Put your boinkers up. You feel me? But I tell you is this. One of the worst things that you can do. One of the worst things that you can do, and this is for anybody who's listening, any of the controllers that's listening, a lesson that I've learned growing up and dealing with relationships is comparisons. Do not compare. Because everybody's gonna get to that point, but we hit that peak at different levels. I'll give you an example. My older brother, engaged, beautiful family, house on his own. If I compared everything to him, how sad would I be with life, right? I would be I don't got a wife, I don't got a kid, I don't got a this, I don't got a that. But you don't
I don't got washboard abs.
You don't right.
How else you gonna wash your clothes?
Give him the boo. Please.
He's trying to struggle to get.
But don't compare. Don't compare. Your journey is totally different than Dave's, than Bendito's, than mine's. You got your own journey. Just do your own thing. Don't look at your cousin, your brothers and your cousins and be like, man, I wish I was, I wish I had
Dave's Extremities.
I was at Dave Extremities, or I wish I had Bendito's charisma or whatever. Like, don't compare yourself to anybody else. You're your own man. You're gonna peak at your own time. Just do your thing and live your life and be happy.
Thanks.
So what after this 15-minute conversation, what are you thinking? Stop shaking that.
I'm happy.
Hey, yo!
I'm shaking that.
That joint was flagrant, yo. That was flagrant.
Shaking that little bit of iced coffee left.
You just
He
said
really
stop
got a
shaking
sip
it.
left. He like, that's all ice.
Is it getting worse?
Where's your charisma?
Yo, let me shake my extremities in peace.
He said stop shaking.
After this conversation, where do you think you stand? Like,
For one, I'm gonna stop ghosting. It's a bad habit I got.
you don't believe him?
I wouldn't agree.
Yeah, I will continue ghosting.
It's not that I don't believe him. I wouldn't agree.
So why would you encourage somebody to keep ghosting people?
Because that just. All right, let me ask you a question then. If we keep into the bean, when you first met your lady, did you ghost her?
No.
Boom, boom, boom. When you meet the person that you really mess with, you're not gonna ghost them. It's easy. Something's in you is gonna tell you in your heart that this is
But
your.
that's not what Alex is saying. He's saying
he
what might ghost people that is genuinely interested in that he might even vibe with.
Because if they
He's just a ghoster.
If they caught his attention, every ghoster has somebody that is Casper,
Ghost-worthy?
that's gonna always be around, that is always gonna be in your life, that you just want to keep around. Excuse me. That's all I'm saying. And all the controllers will agree. Everybody at that point was like, I don't feel your vibe. I don't feel the way that you dress. Might not feel the way that you look. I might not feel the way that you do things. But you know what? This person right here, checking off all my boxes.
I mean, there's definitely
you can eat my box.
There's definitely people.
You feel me?
Yeah.
There's definitely people that are ghost worthy. I get that,
For sure.
but not everybody.
Agreed.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to give it a shot because here's the thing that y'all need to understand. And I'm the OG in here, so I need y'all to shut up and listen up and look at me.
Shake the ice.
You looking at me, Dad? Here's what you need to understand. It's not always what you initially see that will end up coming to be with some people. Sometimes it does take a little bit of time. And what you might be interpreting as a wrong move or a weird signal, sometimes it's not that. I know I know it sounds kind of crazy because you got to be like, well, I got to trust my instincts at all times. But no, sometimes it's about that process of getting to, if there's something there with a person, you can't just immediately ghost them if one thing goes off or happens wrong. What you really got to lean on is this idea of, are they a good, like, what are your core values that you have about that person? And you were saying that a little bit earlier, Dev, about like, what are you laughing about?
No, I'm just letting you speak. Let Dean speak.
Listen to the OG. No, I'm serious. It's like you have to have some core values that you lean on when you're meeting people. And if those things are met, most of them, as you're kind of going along, if something kind of, drifts off a little bit or doesn't feel quite right, give it a second. Because you ghosting people at all times, one, it's going to start building a habit for you that might really make it a struggle for you to make connections with people. And two, it's like, it's not fair to the other person if they're batting 1,000 and then they miss a swing. Now it's like, oh, I gotta abandon them totally. But no, they're still pretty dope. Like that is a possible thing.
All right, so what would you say is the cutoff point then? Are you doing like a 3 strikes and you out rule, or like when do you feel as though it's necessary to ghost them?
It goes back to that, what I said about having like a set of core things that you're looking for, those core values, and do you align? If they break one of those, that's, to me, rises to like a major red flag status.
Gotcha.
Where you have to start thinking about, again, I do think there's people that are ghost worthy because you meet somebody, you maybe have some spark, or you meet somewhere where you kind of had a cool vibe, and then you realize, this ain't it.
Yeah.
But then they're interested in you, so you got to kind of, gracefully back out. I think that's possible and fair. But no, I think it's just like, if it's, because Alex, the way you're describing him, it sounds like you're so 50-50 right now that it could just be anything could just make you go, all right, I'm done. Like, I'm backing away. You might have had a long day at work. You might have got 4 more. And now you ghosting people. Like, that's not their fault. So that's where you got to be, a little bit more mindful to say, okay, I just don't want to be ghosting people left and right, because it's not a great habit to build. You're saying to Dev, like, oh, if people are ghost worthy, they ghost worthy. The right one's going to come by and make you realize you never should ghost them. That's not true. But you could get into a bad habit. That is a totally possible thing.
I feel what you're saying. And Alex, I think ultimately at the end of the day, you'll make the right decision, because we want to get some topics today. But ultimately, you're going to make the right decision. There's going to be that person that's going to make you feel over the moon. You're going to just be in your bag, and it'll work out for you. So don't lose hope because of how you're feeling right now. It's just a right now feeling. And right now feelings usually change. So in the long run, you got this, Papi. We glad to have you back on the show. We're glad to have you back on another episode of the Cruise Control. And we happy that you're here. But Lex, let me tell you something, man. While you were gone, right, he was gone for, what was that, Bendito, about a month now, would you say?
Yeah, I think it was about 18, 19 episodes. Something like that. No, I'm kidding. He was going for about a month.
It was about a month to a year. It was when that
pizza roll would show up.
in that range, you know what I'm saying?
I wish another pizza roll would show up in front of me.
Yeah.
Where's the rest of my Poo Poo Platter?
But while you were gone, we had some stuff going on. We had things happen. But man, I don't know if you heard this news, Lex, but LL Cool J, guys, was all over the boards this week, all over the Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, whatever, because he did an interview.
A legend.
He did an interview with Shannon Sharp, Club Shay Shay, right? Club Shay Shay is a it's a podcast.
Oh yeah, I've been in that club before.
Right. How'd you get in?
I knew somebody.
Yeah?
I knew somebody that knew somebody.
You don't know nobody, man. But anyway, he did an interview with Club Shay Shay, and he's been getting a lot of hate. I'm gonna play the clip from Club Shay Shay. This is LL Cool J and Shannon Sharp talking about their Mount Rushmore of Def Jam. Go ahead, Alex. Go ahead and play that clip.
Okay, we got Jay-Z, we got Kanye, we got LL, we got Rihanna, we got DMX, we got Luda, we got Nas, we got Jay-Z. LL got to put
you said Jay-Z twice.
No.
Secondly, you didn't say Public Enemy. Okay, so you talking about the Def Jam? How you gonna do it? How you gonna
put 4 heads on there? You know you was there. Put 4 heads on there.
It's LL. It's Public Enemy. It's the Beastie Boys, and it would have to be. It would have to be Slick Rick.
Okay, that's all you had to say.
Because it's Def Jam.
Okay. Was Hov not in Def Jam?
Yeah, 1,000 years later.
My rush, okay, we got Jay-Z, we got Kanye, we got LL.
So, Why you laughing?
You seen a little panic in him when it started playing again?
He was like, I'm a ghost here. What if he just ghosted the computer?
He ghosted his duties.
Alex just get up and walk. Shannon Sharp talking for 45 minutes.
Chicken wings. You gotta pee. Nah. So they're talking about their Mount Rushmore of Def Jam Fight for New York.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
One of my favorite video games of all time.
It was a good jump.
But they're talking about Def Jam and their Mount Rushmore. So Shannon Sharp starts listing off legends. Dave Ludacris, Jay-Z. You feel me? The list goes on and on. LL stops him and says, no.
He said, we got Jadakiss.
We got Jadakiss. We got
Ludacris.
We got Ludacris, Jay-Z.
Jay-Z twice.
Jay-Z twice.
We got Rihanna.
And he says, no, that's not the Mount Rushmore. He says it'll be LL, the Beastie Boys, Public Enemy,
Slick Rick,
and Slick Rick the Ruler. Initial reactions, Dave. How you feeling about that list? Def Jam, mind you, it's just Def Jam. It's not hip hop in general. It's just Def Jam.
I mean, one, it's a challenging question to make a Mount Rushmore of that label. I'm actually shocked he didn't mention Run DMC, because you put Public Enemy there. But I mean, Run DMC is kind of the foundation of Def Jam. I mean, Russell Simmons' brother is a part of that group. And he helped, found and kind of lead that group. I don't know if LL was keeping them out intentionally because they started out on a different label initially before Def Jam came to be. So they kind of were already established in hip hop before Def Jam started. So maybe LL's criteria is about people who started at Def Jam, like on the ground, from the ground up, or he could have just overlooked it. But so he's himself, Public Enemy, Beastie Boys, and Slick Rick. Off top, I think Beastie Boys, no. That's the one that I would have the easiest time saying that's not valid. Reason being is because I understand what that meant kind of from a hip-hop business perspective and what they generated revenues-wise, how they contributed to Def Jam's success. But they're just not, they're not really that. They're not Mount Rushmore worthy. They're just worthy of acknowledgement in the history and the storytelling of that Def Jam background.
So
they're not like, they didn't do anything super ridiculous in terms of lyricism. They didn't necessarily have a hard path to get to success because they were such an outlier with being white rappers.
But that, again, I don't think the Beastie...
So it's like that sells. We saw from Eminem.
No.
If you are white and you have some level of acceptance in rap, that boosts up your sales. It does.
Stop. I'm gonna stop you right there. Eminem is lyrically one of the best ever. So stop with the. I don't like the comparisons to Eminem because he's.
But two things could be right at the same time.
Do a like a Post Malone or do like somebody.
No,
but don't say
Eminem had the reason why he outsold so many other rappers is partly because he's white.
If you put Eminem's lyrics on a black rapper, he's still one of the best ever to rap.
I'm not disagreeing with you. What I'm saying is his output, his sales, his popularity globally is due in part to his race.
Dave, my point to you is that the reason that the Beastie Boys aren't on Eminem's level is because of how he is as a rapper. So what I'm trying to say to you is that it's a wrong comparison. Is I guess what I'm getting at with you.
It's not. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying lyrically. I'm not comparing them lyrically. What I'm saying is their success. If LL Cool J, let's keep it on the topic. If he's saying they're part of the Rushmore because they contributed to the foundations of Def Jam, made it reach the heights it is today, he's probably talking in some part about the revenues they generated because they were a popular act. So what I'm speaking on is their popularity was due in large part to the fact that they were white rappers in a time period and in a space where mostly black artists were thriving.
Their popularity was due to the fact that they had some of the best production at the time. the Beastie Boys were known for their production. That was their main thing. If we could stop the talk and just play their music and let everybody else decide. But that's the real truth. The real truth is that production wise, Intergalactic, all them songs that they did, that the beats were just fire, they were corny. The Intergalactic John, he was like, "Don't you tell me to smile." That's corny. Like, they wasn't rapping. They just had great production. It was just nice to hear. It was something that was pleasing to the ear. That's why the Beastie Boys were so popular. You're not listening to them for what they have to say. You're listening to them because their production is great. And there's a lot of rappers who do that now.
So who bought their records?
What are you talking about?
Who bought their albums?
Everybody. Even our father was the one who introduced us to Beastie Boys, and we're Puerto Rican.
Come on, Dad. Beastie.
You're not gonna sit here and lie and act like Pop didn't play Beastie Boys when we was younger.
No. Don't disrespect Pop like that. I should slap you.
Pop would say their production.
I'm gonna use one of
great.
my extremities to slap you.
We're gonna bring Pop on next week's episode, and it might be the whole episode.
Does anybody? I'm tired of talking to Dev because he will avoid hearing what I'm saying to just keep making a point that I'm not even disputing. What I'm saying is, you're right about their production being great. You're right about them not being lyrically sound. I'm not disagreeing with you on any of that. What I am saying is that why they are so popular, why they ended up being so popular was because they were a white rap group.
Okay, and what I'm
and so white kids and white parents accepted them more readily than they would have black artists at that time.
And what I'm disagreeing with you is that if you put...
And whiteness does matter.
If you put that production within a black group, they will still be good because you're listening for the production. Again, they have great beats.
That is false.
That is not. That is not false. That is not false.
It is false.
No, it's not.
Because at the time when Beastie Boys was popular, rap was still on its early upward trajectory, and they were more acceptable and agreeable in white culture. You think white people was flocking in droves to go buy Wu-Tang or Rakim or Big Daddy Kane?
Yes.
Maybe some of them, no, but that was acceptable. You could go listen to No Sleep Till Brooklyn with that stupid rock background to
Wu-Tang
it
was so
because white people was like, oh, they're white? Okay, cool. Play it at our party.
Wu-Tang was so...
3-year-old birthday party.
Wu-Tang was so acceptable to the white culture that they did a whole concert with Rise Against the Machines together, that the white culture was able to accept that Wu-Tang was going, and that's who showed up to the concert was white people.
Yeah, but to put a little more context on Dave's point, their first album dropped in 1986, the Beastie Boys. And that's still on the early stages of hip-hop being mainstream the way it was.
I'm not gonna sit here and let this boy tell me that they weren't popular in part because and in large part because they were a white band in a predominantly black art.
Mm-hmm.
That meant that they were more accepted. That meant that they had access to different shows and different revenue streams that black artists just didn't. That's a fact. So it's cool that they produced a lot of popularity for Def Jam and helped put it on the map.
Yeah.
But I don't think, going back to the topic, I don't think they belong on a Mount Rushmore for that because they had a push, an enzyme that kind of catapulted them that had nothing to do with actual artistry. It was just their color.
And their first album wasn't on Def Jam, by the way.
In the same way that Eminem benefited from that. Eminem is tough. What he's been able to do is great. He is a great artist. But part of his worldwide global success is that he's a white artist. So he's more sellable. He's more accepted in, mainstream America. That's just the facts. That's not taken away from anybody else. It's highlighting how race plays a role in this stuff. So I would say that of the four that he mentioned, the four acts he mentioned, I think, the Beastie Boys are the easiest one for me to kick out. I mean, do you agree with that? Because you arguing back and forth with me, but do you think they should be on that Mount Rushmore?
No.
Okay, then.
I'm not, but I don't like the comparison, Sam. That's all I'm saying. I don't know
why, because I wasn't saying like they're equally lyrical or
because if you take both of their careers, Eminem was tough from start to end. And he wasn't tough just off of the production. That's all I'm saying. As artists, the Beastie Boys were tough because of their production.
That was not the comparison I was making.
No, and
see
even
how you didn't listen to me.
Even if they were white, it doesn't matter. That doesn't make sense because, again, my argument to you was that if you put M's lyrics on a black person, they would be fire and still be considered one of the best. And if you put Beastie Boys production with a black group, they would still be considered a great group because they had great production. That was my point to you, is that if you're going to make this white comparison, you have to say that if they're black on the other end or if they're Spanish on the other end, then they're going to be bad. That was my point. My point is that they're not gonna have that much more.
I be wanting to sock you.
No, because if your point is that due to
how does that even make sense? A little bit.
Because due to their whiteness, they're that famous. And my argument to you is that put Eminem's lyrics on a black person, they're still as famous. Put Beastie Boys production on a black person, they're still as famous. That's my argument to
neither are correct.
And that's your opinion.
It's a fact.
No, it's not. It's not a fact.
It's a fact.
It's clearly not.
It clearly is. That's the whole point of those two artists.
And that's your opinion
being
because
where they are.
We're not going to be able to see that again. We're not going to be able to see a person who has great lyrics and great flow and has influence like Eminem, but put into a black or Spanish rapper. He's doing it on his own. He was the first, and he's the end. That's it. He's the first person to do it, and nobody can imitate his style. Nobody could do what he does. That's the end of the conversation. Same thing with the Beastie Boys. You can't imitate that production. It was great. It was great. That's my point. There, when I get into my bag, I get high pitched voice. You're right. But nevertheless, I'm sorry. We kind of had a back and forth there.
It's a stupid point.
Nevertheless,
I'll still sock you.
I do agree with Dave though, and that's something that we're going to come to an agreement on this topic, is that maybe the Beastie Boys shouldn't have been in it, but LL went on the Budden podcast and discuss this, because remember, Budden's a part of Def Jam too, or Def Jam as well. Mm-hmm. So he was like, yo, what are you talking about? Like, you got the Beastie Boys, Public Enemy, like you saying that they better than people like Jay-Z and Nas or DMX, Jay-Z and DMX. That was their main points. Mm-hmm. And LL's response to that was, you have to understand that when you're talking about Mount Rushmore, he said, let's compare it to the first Mount Rushmore in America. Are those the best presidents, and are those the best people for the country? Who was it? Washington, Lincoln, I forget the Roosevelt, and I forget the other guy.
And Jefferson, I think.
So are they the best people ever in America, like the best presidents and the best thinkers or whatever in America? He's like, no, they're just the first people to start the shit up. So they're put on Mount Rushmore because they started everything. They're not the best, but they started it. So he's like, with that being said, all I'm saying to you is that these are the pioneers of Def Jam. The pioneers of Def Jam is Slick Rick, Beastie Boys, Public Enemy. He was like, of course Jay-Z and Kanye and DMX are outstanding artists. Of course these guys are great rappers, and of course they have production and amazing things going on in their lives. But they're not the pioneers of it. That's why his point, what was his point at the end of the clip?
Don't point at me.
What was his point at the end of the clip that Alex just played? Was that Jay-Z came out, 1,000 years later? That's when Jay-Z came out. So that was his point, is that if you're talking about Mount Rushmore, you can't include Jay-Z because he didn't start it off. He didn't start off Def Jam.
It sounds like I guess that's kind of he took liberties there.
You think it sounds like a cop out?
It does a little bit, because I understand what he's saying. Yes, if you interpret Mount Rushmore very literally as what does the Mount Rushmore in America represent? It represents early leaders, where they can't go and put Obama's face on there if you think he's a top 4 president of all time.
He made that point too. He made that point about Obama.
So I get it. But we also know culturally, when we say Mount Rushmore, we're just talking about the best 4. Yeah. They basically asked them a top 5 question, just 4. But that's when people say Mount Rushmore, that's what they mean. So all of a sudden now you're talking about, I took it like, I interpret it as it's the pioneers who built it. It's like, okay, well, we can't really say you're wrong. But again, if we're going off of his definition of Mount Rushmore, I'd still take issue with his list. Like, again, Run DMC needs to be on that list, and that's the most egregious omission that he has.
Yeah.
Beastie Boys needs to be off. Public Enemy, I can understand because of how impactful they were. Himself, he's totally on there for sure. And then the Slick Rick thing, I can see that. So maybe the only issue I have is with Beastie Boys, and they need to be swapped out with Run DMC.
Yeah,
And that
I
to
totally
me is the
agree.
ideal Rushmore from his definition.
Yeah, I totally agree. I could see that. Beastie Boys is the only one I had a problem with.
Even
and I would put Run DMC in there as well.
Based on his definition
based
of what
on
a Rushmore
LL's
is.
Mount
Yeah,
Rushmore.
Yeah.
for sure.
See, I would disagree. I don't know. Based off of his, I would probably. I might take out Public Enemy for Run DMC.
And keep Beastie Boys.
And keep Beastie Boys. Again, I just think that.
Boy loves whites.
No.
Clearly.
Come on, man. I gotta pee, and I don't want to pee myself.
Edit that out, Benny.
It's not.
This is a non-edited pod. This bullshit.
Staying in. I'm ready to cancel 5 minutes in.
Getting fired. Yeah, Benny off rip.
Yeah, he already got his offer from Bubba Cola.
I'll be at RC Cola in 2 weeks.
No, again, I just think Beastie Boys, as I argued in the beginning of this topic, I'm not gonna go past their production and say that it was garbage. Their production was high above the rest, and again, they were one of the first people to join. Like LL said, they were one of the first in Def Jam. Just in general, they were one of the first.
They was weak.
But
can y'all gang up on him with me?
Hey, yo.
Can we jump him intellectually? They was trash. No, sleep, Brooklyn.
Yeah, their lyrics were. I agree, but I argued that already. I said their lyrics weren't good. You're not. By spitting their lyrics to me, you're not.
But you said production. That song is trash.
That production.
Anything with electric guitar is trash.
And the only reason that
the song
production,
Benny played from Jimi Hendrix.
and the only reason that production worked with them doing hip hop on those heavy metal or rock samples was because they are white.
There is people who have done great samples off of that rock
In the 80s?
No, not in that time period.
But that's what we're talking about.
Okay, but then that's breaking the point even more, that they were so inventive and they were ahead of their time that
Rick
they were able
Rubin
to do that.
was. And the reason why they were able to get away with it, I feel as though, is because they were white.
And the only
But Rick Rubin didn't produce their songs. The One Bull was the producer.
The
for
only
their
other thing I
music
could think of off the top of my head is Run DMC collaborating with Aerosmith
at that time.
Right, where it's got like that rock, heavy metal influence.
And if y'all notice that Def Jam, it's followed. It was the Beastie Boys to do it first, then like you said, Run DMC, and then Jay-Z did it with Linkin Park. That they're always trying to collab and bring together, and then Wu-Tang did it with Rise Against the Machine. They're always trying to collab Rage Against the Machine. You're right. Collab and make it better with different styles of music, which I always enjoy. But I'm not gonna disrespect. So if we're all right, let's do it us. Let's do just a cruise control.
Well, real quick to say a final thought on LL. I actually respect his Rushmore from his definition, like with his definition as the basis. I respect his because he's got like. Let me take out Beastie Boys because I don't think they should be there. But if you put Run DMC in there, right, they were like the godfathers of it all. You put him in there, he was like the first lyrical superstar.
Hello is tough.
Right? And just like, yeah, he kind of set that tone for that kind of rapper. Public Enemy was that cultural influence where they were bigger than just a rap. It was a political thing. It was influencing the politics, the culture. Like they really pushed that. And then Slick Rick was like, represents a pioneer of like inventiveness, ingenuity, creativity, storytelling, right? He really was like a vivid artist and kind of the most, I guess, artistic of the four. So I like the way that he kind of covered those bases there. I can respect that. Setting out the Beastie Boys or whatever. That's my thought on LL's thing.
So who's your Mount Rushmore not using?
Well, that's for sure.
That's my thought on LL's thing is crazy.
I didn't even think that. So who's your Mount Rushmore? We're not including LL's point. We're just gonna go off of us.
So when you say Mount Rushmore in this question, you're saying
your top four artists,
just the greatest,
Def Jam people.
That's totally different than his definition, right?
Right.
Yeah, Def Jam wise, Jay-Z, DMX. I would still do Run DMC, and I would do LL as the fourth. Pause.
That's crazy. Jay-Z, I would go Jay-Z, DMX, Kanye, Rihanna. Friday your list. TKO.
Nah.
Nah. Yeah. Yeah, you forgot about Kanye and Rihanna. They're part of Def Jam as well.
No, I didn't forget about them. It's just that's where I do take some of what LL's saying about you got to acknowledge what came before you to kind of open up certain doors, and that's where my Run DMC LL inclusion is. They're on that super duper stardom level where they should still be mentioned, and then I think Jay-Z and DMX for me will round it out, and Kanye and Rihanna would be a difficult. That would be a topic of discussion maybe with that last spot with DMX. You could have that debate. But I think Jay, Run DMC, LL.
Rick Ross is on there. Ghostface. You didn't even say Method Man, and that's your favorite rapper of all time.
Yeah, but Meth should always be synonymous with Wu, and they weren't a Def Jam group.
Justin Bieber is on Def Jam. I didn't even know that. There's a lot of
What about Benny's artist?
Oh, yeah, his name is Benny's Artist.
Yeah.
He's tough. He's not on Def Jam.
He was on Jam Def.
He's on Benny's label.
Yeah.
That's the name of the label.
Yeah, we just signed HD.
What's the Mount Rushmore of Benny's label?
HD, Iced Coffee.
Sizzly.
Sizzly.
And a vape.
And a John that Alex ghosted.
John that Alex ghosted.
That's her name.
John Alex ghosted.
Benditti, you got a Mount Rushmore for Def Jam?
You thought I was feeling you?
Not really.
No?
Nah. Jay-Z. I kind of agree with what's his name's list, LL's. If we're talking his standards, besides the Beastie Boys.
So you would substitute Jay-Z for the Beastie Boys?
No, I would put Run DMC in for the Beastie Boys and then keep the rest of his list. Yeah.
I can't argue with it, man.
I respect though what him kind of saying what he said and standing by it. I appreciate that consistency. I do think he conveniently pulled out Mount Rushmore got Abraham Lincoln. He doesn't necessarily mean they're all the best presidents. All right, sure.
He's like that.
So from now on, anybody who comes up to any friends, family, don't say, if you say Mount Rushmore, clarify what you're talking about. Are we saying pioneering or are we saying just the best? That's two different things.
Right. That's a good point though. You got to clarify when you're talking about your top 5 or your Mount Rushmore. You do have to clarify. All right.
We didn't even ask Alex what's his Mount Rushmore. Because he's really our historian here.
Go ahead, Alex.
Alex, who you got in your Mount Rushmore?
Of what? You know how I get.
Different Pepsi flavors.
That was loud.
Yeah, that was.
I'll probably go with Dev's list.
I'm tough.
Probably would.
Yo, Alex, you suck.
What was Dev's list?
I hope everybody goes to you for the next 5
Rihanna,
years.
Kanye.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta pee. Chicken wings. Chicken wing french fries.
I think he said Eminem.
Eminem's never a part of Def Jam.
But yeah, I'll go with Dev's list.
And Swiss Beats. Benny's favorite producer.
And Blind Fury.
And Benny's artist.
Yeah, I seen this one post, a little sidebar.
What's that?
Who's that, John? Scarlett?
Yeah.
She was on Instagram like, Swizz just sent me this beat. I need to find an artist for it to feature with. And I was like, I bet you I know what the beat sound like. And sure enough, it was just
what is it with you in this
bass
beef, man?
and clap. Boom, boom, bat, boom, bat. I'm just like,
Did he hate Swiss?
I don't hate him. He's iconic, bro. But I feel like he's more iconic for his vocal presence than his beat ability.
That's crazy.
Yeah. What did he say?
What did he say?
His beatability is crazy.
That's new. I never heard that.
Yeah, he don't know how to do his man's North right.
Yeah. Try not to laugh because I do have to urinate.
What if he was white?
His beats will make a lot more sense.
What if he was white? Would you like him more?
No, Dev would.
Yeah, Dev would. Swiss Beats. If he was a dog, it would be the same thing.
Social studies.
Dave is mad right now.
Swiss beats. It has nothing to do with whiteness.
That's crazy.
I love whites. I love whites. I love whites.
Dave said, if we're talking hip hop, let's talk Beastie Boys and Eminem. Like he went like this and talked two different tiers of rappers.
Two extremities?
Yeah, Dave. I'm about to ghost you.
Dev got Swiss.
You know what? I'm ghosting Dev for the rest of this episode.
It's ghosted. Don't even look this way, man. He said Beastie Boys and Eminem in the same sentence. I don't care what you're talking about. You could be talking about food that they ate. Don't do it. It's hip hop, David. It's hip hop.
I agree with Dave on that, man.
Swiss beat. Stop it, because they're both known for two totally different things. No matter if they're white or not, one gets put on lyrics get put on that on a person of color, they're gonna do great and they're gonna be good. One gets the beats get put on a person of color, they're gonna be good.
I disagree with that.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I don't. Because if that was the case, then there would have been people in the 80s or in the 90s that would have been taking and biting off of what the Beastie Boys was doing, but they couldn't. Because they were great at what they did. No matter if they're white or not, if they're black or not, if you're great in your time period, you're going to do something that nobody else is doing that's going to make you good. That's all I'm saying.
Y'all hear that ghost talking?
That's all I'm saying.
Pac-Man ghost.
Anyway, I'm hearing a little high cholesterol, so I just want to get off of this topic and go on to the next one.
Yeah, he about to pee himself.
FOMO.
So...
No FOMO.
No FOMO platter.
What we got for the next topic,
FOMO
Bendito?
platter.
What's on the...
Yo, what Dev just said is a poo-poo platter of words.
So I came across this video on my time endless scrolling, and it was Nelly discussing the...
Nelly.
Yeah, Nelly.
Whoa, Nelly.
Yeah, it was him discussing the difficulty of his era. And Alex, if you want to play the clip, give a little more context on it.
Oh, hey, fill me up.
What?
What's that? Put me up.
I heard fill me up.
I heard fill me up too.
Yeah, I did too. I'm a ghost you.
Yo, this joint not working?
No, it's up.
You sure?
Yeah, unlock the... Oh, there we go.
Goddamn right.
Yeah.
Goddamn right. But you gotta understand, my era of music.
Run it back.
Chip on your shoulder because everything was
Hell yeah.
LA, New York.
Goddamn
we always talk
right.
about that with the Midwest, man. Like,
Goddamn right.
Yeah.
Goddamn right. But you gotta understand, my era of music was the toughest era in hip hop ever. Ever. When I put out songs, I had to go against DMX,
Eminem,
Jay-Z, Eminem, Lil Wayne, 50 Cent, Luda.
nah.
Yeah.
All of us are fighting for one spot. So from 99 to like 2008, 10, it's the hardest era ever to get records.
Units in pimp juice and us.
So I feel like this would be a good topic for us to discuss because a lot of us, we grew up in that era of hip hop.
What was that? That was the 2000s?
Early 2000s.
Early 2000s.
So we'll call it 2000 to 2010.
Yeah, he's clearly lost his mind.
So you disagree with him?
I 100% disagree with him.
That it wasn't the hardest time to get a record?
No. 100%. This time in our era right now is the easiest time to get a record. Like currently, what we call this, the 2020s or the 2010s? What's this? What would you call it?
The 2020s.
2020 era?
Yeah.
So this is the easiest time to get a record out. You could do whatever as long as it got a catchy beat and you sound like
Ian.
Yeah, you sound like Ian.
Yeah.
You know,
This is the Skibbity era.
Explain Skibbity.
I don't know, Alex. What is that?
Poo Poo Platter.
I heard there's a new slang called. It's like skibabadop.
Oh, skibbity dub. Yes.
Skibbity. Yes. The bull with the belly.
Why you pointed at me and said the bull with the belly?
Because y'all cousins.
You're a ghost.
Why you say cousins? Y'all cousins. All right, so
You don't think that's the hardest era?
No.
Interesting.
What do you think?
I think he's got a fair point.
I don't like it because
we at least have to consider if he's got a fair point that that's the hardest era because
Yeah.
he named a bunch of big name acts that he had to constantly go up against. Mm-hmm. And what's funny about Nelly is that he actually ended up, for a while, he was the most, he was the highest selling artist for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Until Eminem. Like, until Eminem surpassed him.
Yeah. And Nelly actually, remember Nelly said that in why he felt like Eminem?
Right.
He said he had blonde hair and blue eyes.
Right. I'm the greatest selling rapper alive.
Yeah.
And not Caucasian, blonde hair, blue eyes, and who Devin loves.
He didn't say my name in the rap.
He did. White lover.
I mean, no, I would have, bro. I'm telling you because one, he, like, you can't deny that Jay-Z was all and Eminem were also in the 90s.
Why did I just go like this? Like I had a hat?
Ma'am.
I grabbed an imaginary hat just now. My bad. Go ahead. Continue.
He also said Eminem and Jay-Z who were in the 90s though, and I feel like you have to. Would you include them in both eras, or would you just take them
because
out?
when they were hitting their stride, he was also in that mix. Like that was all happening at the same time.
Yeah, but they were tough in the 90s though. That's why they're the best, two of the best rappers ever.
Tough.
Eminem.
Tough is a strong word to use there, Dev. Early on in Jay-Z's career, he had to really kind of claw to get up to where he was like a household name.
But know what I'm saying?
And that was in the night. Remember, I always like to think about hip hop history like Biggie and Tupac died in that 95, 96 region. I think it was 96 actually when they went. So that 97, 98, 99, that was only a 3-year window before you're getting to the 2000s. And people like Jay-Z and them, Jay-Z basically came right after Biggie and Tupac.
But like 99,
and he was only on the come up early. And the same thing with Eminem. That was like his first real kind of traction that he was making in hip hop.
That's
once the 2000s they were like pretty significant names.
Eminem's first big hit was in the 90s.
Def, again,
My Name was in the 90s.
You're
But
saying
it was
it like
99 though.
But that's what I'm saying. What I just said to you guys that none of you guys are listening is I said,
I've been saying we should sock him?
No, listen. What I asked you guys is, should we omit them because they were tough in both, and you can't say they were from one or the other. If My Name comes out in 99, which is still the 90s technically, can you omit it because then he had other songs that came out in the 2000s that were also tough, or do you put them in both? Because they both had songs in each era that were tough.
Yeah, but we're talking about the 2000s era, and Eminem was included in that list. So
I
yeah.
know, but what I'm saying is that if I'm including Eminem in the 90s as well, then that becomes the best list. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all.
So you think...
Because if we're including Eminem and Jay-Z in the 90s and the 2000s, then the 90s is clearly better.
We're talking about what's the tougher area to
the 90s, but that's what I'm
saying. So you're saying the 90s, all
right? But that's what I'm saying. If you include them, then it's the 90s. If you don't, then it might be a different story. So you have to say, are we including them? Are both 90s and the 2000s? Are we excluding them in general? Because they were fire in the 90s and fire in the 2000s. That's my question to y'all. I asked that in the beginning. I said, are we omitting them or are we keeping them in there?
Yeah.
Because if we're keeping them in the 90s, Tupac, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Jay-Z, Busta Rhymes, Big Pun, Andre 3000, Method Man, 50, Biggie, Lauryn Hill, Old Dirty Bastard, Nas, Missy, Black Thought, Dr. Dre, like the list goes on and on. You can't sit here and tell me that the 90s wasn't a tougher era than the 2000s. That's just that's where I'm heading at. And by the way, before we continue, this topic seems like it's going to be good, so I think this should be the question of the week, to be honest.
All right.
If I'm keeping it a bean, you agree with that, Ghost Dave?
Don't call me Ghost Dave.
Papi Ghost, you agree with that? This should be the topic of the week. Let's make this the question of the week. The question of the week this week, everybody, is what era of hip hop, and we're going to go by 10 years. So 90s, 1990 to 2000 to 1999 or 2000, 2000 to 2010, 2010 to 2020, 1980 to 1990. Like, what was the toughest decade of hip hop, I would say, to come up and make a song? I'm saying the 90s.
Eminem.
Again,
Eminem came out with My Name Is
in 99.
June 25th, 1999.
Okay, that's
Country Grammar came out June 27, 2000. They were literally a year apart.
Okay.
Like, what? Why are you trying to make it seem like Eminem was in a whole different time frame than Nelly?
No, tell me this.
They both basically hit superstardom at the same same time.
You're just
in hip hop
ignoring
time.
the parts,
That's like
you're ignoring the parts that I'm
second
saying.
after the next the first person.
You're ignoring the parts that I'm saying. I literally just told Benny I agree that it was 99 that My Name Is came out. But what I'm saying is that it was still the 90s. So I don't care if it's 2 months, 3 months, a year, whatever, that's in the 90s. But if we're not including that, then let me know, because then the list changes.
You tell me, you including Eminem as a 90s rapper?
If it's in the 90s,
I'm asking you.
I'm answering you. It's in the 90s, then it's the 90s for me.
So what is Eminem?
But that's why
is
I
he a
asked
90s
y'all.
rapper or is he a 2000s rapper?
He's a 90s rapper to me.
That's false.
That's not false, because
That's dumb and false.
then you got to answer my question from before when I asked you.
You are dumb and false today.
No, I asked you before. Eminem and Jay-Z, they're still rapping to this day. Eminem still has great songs till today. He just came out with an album that y'all didn't like, but he had a couple songs in there that was fire. So are we going to say, no, we can't include the 2020s because he's been rapping for 30? No, you're going to say that he's been tough.
Who talks
all
like
those?
that?
You do when you're wearing this outfit. You got to say that he's been rapping tough all these years. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Alex, you his friend now? Alex gonna be on cam next week. I gotta sit over there. All I'm saying is that Jay-Z and Eminem have been amazing since they started rapping. They just were always great. So they're gonna be one of those aliens of hip hop who have just been in every decade and every hip hop era. They just been tough. They're Andre 3000 the same way. Like, even though he started off in the 90s with Outkast, he's in this era. If Andre 3000 hopped on a song today, he'd probably fry whoever he rapped with. It's the truth. But still, like, thank you, Alex. I shouldn't have did that. I accept your validation. But still, there's artists in those eras.
Well, mentally horny. Firing on all 9 cylinders.
There's artists in each era that
I get it.
Transcend.
I get what you're saying, but I feel like for me, and this is just my opinion.
Say your opinion.
He didn't gain like his massive popularity, success, and numbers until the 2000s. The album dropped early February. The whole album dropped February '99, if I'm not mistaken. And yes, the album did well, but his fame and popularity and accolades and all that came in the 2000s era.
Right.
He was on the tail end of the 90s. So I personally don't consider him to be one of the biggest artists of the 90s.
Right. Same with Hov.
Well, Hov was out early in the 90s, wasn't he?
Yes.
He a little bit earlier. But
he was still
He didn't hit that superstardom status until the 2000s.
Yeah.
Okay, but that was my point to you guys from the get-go, was that if you guys don't agree to that, then let me know, because then the list changes. If you're gonna,
what are we saying right now? Are you listening?
But why didn't you say that earlier when I was asking the questions?
Because it's so, like, sometimes when you talk to dumb people, you think, why can't you grasp what I'm saying right now?
Because you have to say it out of your lips.
And also, why didn't you think that for yourself? Why would you even allow yourself to think that those two people could be included in the 90s?
Because
are you dumb, boy?
Because the Slim Shady LP came out in the 90s with My Name Is, with Guilty Conscience, with great songs with Eminem. Now you can't take that away from his career, because those are top songs in his discography. That's what I'm saying. Jay-Z, same thing.
All right,
He's
so
still tough.
let's do your question of the week then.
I've been doing my question of the week.
The controllers and the controllers don't want to hear you just yell loud, stupid stuff.
Yeah,
Unless they're white.
Reasonable Doubt came out in '96. So
go ahead, Dave. Argue.
That's mid '90s.
Go ahead. No. Let him. Go ahead.
Yeah, his first album.
And was it not good?
It was. That does not qualify him as a '90s artist. He didn't have the bulk of his career and superstardom success in the 90s. It was in the 2000s when Jay-Z became larger than life.
Okay. So I guess
he was just starting out, just like Eminem was just starting out in '99.
Okay, so my point to you is that why do you exclude them from that era if they rapped in that era with those other killers, with those other artists who were fire and tough, with the Biggies, with the Tupacs, with the Puns? They were trying to come up in the same era as them.
Let me answer your question, because it's not reflective of the bulk of the work that they put in.
But that okay, so
it's a portion, so now a relatively small portion.
Okay, I see you now. I disagree with it, but I understand your point now. I do understand your point.
Yeah, I personally still would consider Jay-Z a 90s artist. But Eminem, I would consider him an artist that...
In the 2000s?
In the 2000s.
So
Yeah.
what would you, so if you split that up, Jay-Z's in the 90s, Eminem's in the 2000s, what's the toughest era in your opinion?
I feel like there's a lot of factors you got to take in consideration. They still dependent on radio hits. A lot of people still listening to the radio in the early 2000s. People still buying CDs in the early 2000s. So you got to consider CD sales and the way music is consumed at the time, right? Ticket sales, word of mouth, all that. Is not just putting up a post on Instagram to millions of followers. So I personally feel like with it being like that weird point of the transition to technology and how music consumption is going, I do agree with him that the 2000s was the most difficult era for artists to really pop off. And
you agree
find
that the 2000s?
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree it's the 2000s.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So you're saying because of the way the era, like how things were brought up and how technology changed, I guess you would say?
Yeah.
Is that why the 2000s were?
It was a little more difficult, yeah.
But with that being said, just to play devil's advocate, why wouldn't you say that 2010 when Cole and Drake and Kendrick and there's so much more ways to get fed information.
Yeah.
And there's rappers out there who have access to this that are not as popular as Kendrick or Cole or Drake.
Well, I just feel like that's more of a question of talent than it is of anything, because they stand in a lane of their own. And whether or not, I feel as though if you're using Cole and Kendrick as an example, you put them in the 90s to 2000s or in their era, they're still going to be just as successful, in my opinion, just because of the level of talent.
Okay. I hear you. So you're saying if you put Kendrick in the 90s, he's still going to be tough?
Yeah.
Put Cole in the 90s?
Still going to be tough.
You put Drake in the 90s?
I feel like not so much with Drake, because he's like a pop star. He's a chameleon. He just does a bunch of different types of genres. And he took a mold of a rapper and plays the role really well. And I feel like that's why he's popular nowadays. I don't feel like Drake, without the way music is consumed and
the influence of
the
social
influence
media?
of social media, would be as successful in other eras.
Okay.
Because I feel like his talent is, I mean, he's gonna go down as one of the best pop artists of all time, and people will consider him hip hop. I just think he's more of an artist. Like he does all types of music. He's very versatile in that way, but I don't see him being successful in a lot of other eras.
Dave, decade. What's the hardest decade to make music in?
Yeah, I was just sitting here thinking, like, this is really more of a decades question, because we are breaking it up from a time perspective. Because if you think about eras is a little bit different. Because I think there's like a old school era that's like the pioneer artists. Maybe that ends with like a Run DMC. Then you've got like the golden age, which is the Wu-Tang, Biggie, Tupac, that era. Then you've got like the 2000s wave, which I don't know what to call that, but it's like that era was, I would count Jay-Z, Eminem, Luda, Nelly, them artists, DMX,
Wayne.
Early Wayne, yes. That would be like that era. Then you've got like the blog era, which is really one that we need to acknowledge, I should say. I was looking for the word. That's an era you need to acknowledge, where you've got like the Wiz Khalifa, the Mac Miller, like that whole.
Yeah.
And then you kind of now have the trap era, which I think we're currently in.
With the Futures.
Yeah. I guess Southern era too should probably go, but I feel like the South, the rise of the South kind of ran almost concurrently with the blog
90s?
era.
Wasn't the rise of the South though? Well, I guess because
when Outkast said it, they were kind of the start of it, but it was a slow train to get up to where it's like Future and them is running hip hop and Migos. That took a while.
That did take a while. I agree.
Like for it to be really widely accepted, and that's what's played in every club.
But they're there now. The South is running the game right now.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's much different than the decades thing. Decades wise, it'll be 90s for me. The reason I say that is because as much as I would want to say 80s, because of when you talk about the hardest era to exist in, you do have to acknowledge what the world looked like for hip hop, the world surrounding hip hop. And I feel like the 80s, it was way more challenging to get radio play, to get traction in the mainstream, because hip hop was a thing that was seen as like very much alternative and very much counterculture. So legit, people were going and having to like bully radio DJs to even play their music. So
I agree.
I think the 80s does have something to say as far as being the most difficult. But I think the 90s is most challenging because you had hip hop was still needing to like really permeate the mainstream market, but you also had top tier talent all through that decade. Again, with Wu, Tupac, Biggie, we can throw Jay-Z in there, we can throw DMX in that 90s window. Big Pun, like that's really a challenging time to kind of lay claim to who was the best and kind of who took that crown. By the time the 2000s came, hip hop was already starting to be like when 2000 hit, hip hop had kind of found its groove. And I think it found a rhythm of we can be big business. We got a lot of labels that made their bones in the 90s, and now in the 2000s they're just big name labels. So they had a lot of power. And then mainstream wise, you started to see the money flowing because they realized how profitable hip hop was. And it was becoming the new mainstay genre of just music in general.
Yeah.
So while Nelly's point is a valid one in that there was a competition, you also did better. Like you was tough. It wasn't like Nelly was struggling. He was a big artist.
Nelly was,
as was Luda, as was I think all the names he listed, y'all all ate. So it's not like it was a super challenge. I think the 90s was more like who's about to eat because we all super tough, but yet we still trying to grind to make this thing established.
And I think Nelly probably took a little bit more like pride in it because Nelly, my personal opinion, right? Nelly wasn't as lyrically talented as the people he named off. So Nelly, he was popular because he had like a lot of club hits, great music to play on the radio.
Nelly was like a single. He's really unique.
Yeah.
He's like a sing-along artist. Like he had,
Hot in Here, Country Grammar.
Yeah, down, but that's like stuff you just kind of chant and you can sing over and over.
Would you consider it like anthem type music?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with that like Midwest twang, like he was unique and that was cool.
But that's why it
was different.
That's why you appreciate Nelly because he had to do that shit again. I agree. Like I said, I agreed with you guys in the beginning that Eminem had a lot of his great music in the early 2000s, but he had to compete with that.
Yeah.
He had to compete with all the Jay-Z albums, with Ludacris and Southern Hospitality and Word of Mouth. He was going ballistic. He was going crazy. So he had to compete with these lyrical rappers who were tough and frying and also making radio hits, and he still was at the top. You know
I think
the
I give him a lot of credit for that.
One thing I'll say too, just to kind of round out the decades thing, I think the 2010s is really weird because it was mostly that blog era, and so you had like Mixtape Wayne, had like all the blog rappers that come up. So there was definitely talent, but it was such a transitional period, and that was the transition where the South was rising, into prominence, and so you really. But then it was that by that point, hip hop's a machine. It's printing money, and everybody in the world wants to consume hip hop.
Yeah.
So it really isn't hard at that point to be famous. It's more like it's choosing which way to be famous.
Yeah.
Do you want to come up in that South wave and have that sound? Do you want to come up as a backpacker blogger? I'm mixing up all my words because I had this big Viking mug of beer.
Black
Shout out to Prestige, our sponsor.
Yeah.
Thanks.
But yeah, it's a weird time. And then now it's like at a place where I think it's pretty clear who's running the show at this point.
Yeah.
I see dead people.
Yeah.
But this era is pretty clear. It's like you got all the artists that Alex likes and listens to while he's ghosting people. And then you got like Kendrick, J. Cole, and Drake.
Yeah.
Yeah, this era is for sure. I think this is the easiest era to pop off and make some money in. Dave, you made a great point last week that I really agreed with, which is like,
thank you.
A lot of these companies are like, let me just shout out like 5 bulls who could sing like a dance song or something, rather than pay like Kendrick so many mil to like make quality music. And that's what music has become nowadays. It's like, let's just get a bull that go on and be like, I want to rock, like, and just start dancing and come up with some stupid dance and come up with some right, some stupid John that just want to dance, and then you be like, I'm gonna pay him 5 mil, take him out the hood, you know what I'm saying, make him happy. Right. And then he's not gonna give me another hit, but hey, I had that run of 6 or 7 months with good music. And that's just what it is right nowadays. So this era, I think, is the easiest. I still gonna go down and say that the 90s was the most difficult era to get the hip hop in. Alex, do you have a say in this? I'm curious. Or no, are you just ghosting us?
Yeah, I'm ghosting you.
Alex don't even know what we're talking about.
Alex muted his own mic.
He muted his headphones, put cardboard in between.
What was the topic?
He said, when do I gotta press play again?
But no, ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, that has been episode 122 of the Cruise Control. Yo, every time we have these hip hop conversations, man,
it gets heated.
It'd be pretty good, man.
Yeah.
I like just good conversations.
It's weird. In 122 episodes of doing this pod, I think there's only been maybe like a half dozen times where people saw what most of our interactions actually be like. Because I think we do this podcast so well, you and I, where like you do like the hosting role and I'll do like the commentary role. But this is what our actual conversations be like. 95% of the time, I just be so upset with how your brain works. And you you real sockable.
Is you dumb boy.
He just be making. So
this was like one of the rare glimpses where people see what our actual relationship is like, which is Dev just makes me mad with the way that he thinks, and he's so hard-headed about it.
He just be making me mad because Dave will grasp onto one thing that you said. You could say a bunch of other things, and Dave will pinpoint that one thing that you said, and that will be the only thing he'll think about for the whole John. You could spew like some crazy shit to him. You could be like, for real, this is what I think, and he'd be like, let me go back. What do you mean by white? Like, I'm like, bro, you're not hearing the rest of the conversation that I just gave you. You're stuck on one thing, and that's what be getting me mad about him. And then he'll get mad at me, and that's the dynamic right there. That's the cruise control for you, baby. Yeah. And that's why we did 122 episodes of this shit.
With PapiLex.
And PapiLex is here in the building
so
too.
People can see me sock you.
But no, who got the ending song today, man? Did we got the?
Before that, let's go around. Anybody want to give any shout outs? Benny, you got any shout outs before we dip out? Let's show love to the people. You know, people listen to us. They tune in every week.
Shout out to my boy Dejan.
Mustard?
He's
mustard on the
went to his baby shower today. He got a baby on the way.
Hey. Shout out to everybody who ever put mustard on their hot
dogs. Dejan, giving birth to baby Spicy Brown. That's what's up. No, congrats to them.
Yeah. Shout out to them.
That's a good shout out.
And everybody that takes the time to share the post and listen and actually engage. I really appreciate y'all for
do that this week. Yeah. Share with your peoples. Alex, you got any shout outs?
Yo, shout out to me being back at the pod, man.
Shout out to PapiLex back in the building. You figure deal me, Captain?
I'll give a shout out to Roz for bringing us pizza rolls and cheese stick rolls. I'll give a shout out to Benny and Alex for showing up, rocking with us. I'll give a shout out to Dev for bringing the Prestige beers, our sponsor for today.
Yep. Shout out to Haiti.
Shout out to Dave's Fit.
Shout out to my fit, woven in a loom factory somewhere.
Talk about it.
Dev, you got any shout outs for any whites?
Shout out to Eminem and the Beastie Boys for influencing my hip hop.
Shout out to Michael Phelps.
Shout out to Michael Phelps and Katie Ledecky.
Greta Thunberg.
Shout out to everybody, man. No, shout out. I think Benny said it, but shout out to the people who constantly listen in, always commenting and joking around. I did see, for those who didn't hear our last clip that we put on the socials, you should check that out on all the socials at Cruise Control Show on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. But I told the guys, I'm like, we're gonna catch some flack for that Young Thug comment, and people was definitely leaving us paragraphs under the comments. Y'all need to go check out the clip and defend us.
Shout out to Young Thug.
Shout out to Free Young Thug first and foremost. That's what I'm gonna say. Free Young Thug.
Free Dejan.
Dejan, he's chilling. He's about to have a baby.
Oh yeah, he's free already.
He's free.
Yeah, he's free.
He's a bird.
At the baby shower.
But nevertheless, you got the song, Benny? Bendito, you got the ending song? What's the what we playing for this for the ending of 122, man?
Yeah, it's called What's the Use by Mac Miller.
What's the Use by Mac Miller? You a Mac Miller fan, Dave?
Yeah.
He's chilling, right?
He's chilling.
All right.
I don't know if I'm like going to Mac Miller first for anything really.
Right.
I'm gonna be honest, but I also don't hate him.
Right.
I respect him.
Who's pulling this? Alex, you pulling the song up? Oh, okay. You got it ready?
Yeah.
Go ahead,
What about you?
Play that John. Mac Miller's chilling. I mean,
Vodka soda with wheat.
what was this?
I'm chilling.
You a Mac Miller fan, Alex?
Vodka soda.
No, Mac Miller's chilling. I think he's I like his his flow was tough. He flowed a lot on a lot of good beats, and he was respected by a lot of rappers. A lot of people had nothing but great things to say about him before he passed, unfortunately.
Yeah, I fuck with Mac heavy.
Rest in peace to Mac. But he's chilling though, man. This is a little groovy outro song.
Yeah, I think if he was black, he would still be seen as groovy.
Yeah.
This is Mac Miller and Thundercat. If y'all know who Thundercat is.
Oh yeah.
He's white.
He's of color, right?
Yeah. So.
Thundercat did a do-rag, right?
Yeah.
Dragon Ball do-rag. That's my song.
You can love it, you can leave it. This ain't nothing with that.
Episode 122, like I said earlier. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. At the Cruise Control Show. At the Cruise Control Show. At the Cruise Control Show. At the Cruise Control Show.
It might be just you two on the line.
Yo, I've listened to this song every single day this week.
Hey, yo, Jerry Chestnut.
Shit.
Brushing your teeth to this song.
Okay, colder than the breeze, but the breeze ain't flowing like me, motherfucker. Hold up.
Did he talk like that in real
You
life?
don't need to hold up.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
Llama.
And I can show you how I seem, what it is, what it truly might be. Nothing that you know of.
He actually performed this with Thundercat on his Tiny Desk too.
Oh yeah?
So above and beyond, you take drugs to make it up, way up where we on. Space shuttle Elon. It's gonna be like, we don't waste much.
It's very chilling right now.
Yeah, it's
Just
a
like
good- it's a
Celine
good outro
Dion.
vibe.
Catch me if you can, but you'll never catch me. Damn. Whole lot of
We love
yes,
you
I
guys.
am. All the way
Thank you
in with
for
no
listening to
exit
the
plan.
Cruise
Already
Control.
left in the jet.
And you know what I gotta say?
Yeah, the time is ticking. Could take a ride, get inside. This is highly different. I'm talking fly, got the pilot with me. Can I
I wanna take things slow, put my mind in cruise control.